Hello, beautiful people. Thank you for joining me here at the New Times Rwanda. My name is Davis Sijiro, and I am being joined by Dominique Alonga Uwase. She is an author. She is the founder of Imagine We Rwanda. It's a book publisher, and if we get time, we'll talk about some of her books. She wrote books, and in case you're wondering what we're going to talk about, if she's not talking about her books directly, we are going to talk about her new project. It's a card game. It's a card game designed to help you and your loved ones get to know each other better, ask deeper questions, and know the better version of each other. That I am quoting her. And if you don't mind, please join me in welcoming Alonga to the show. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, your new project. Yeah, your new project. It's a card game designed to help you, me, and my loved ones get to know each other.
Yes.
Yeah, you see, when I saw the cards, when I heard of the game, I realized, this is something, because if I am a person who is normally accustomed to, these surface questions, hello, how are you? And then the conversation gets done. I think this is one of the solutions, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so what can you talk about? What can you say about this new card game?
So it's called Deeper Conversations, and essentially it's a deck of cards, and it's made of 55 cards, and they vary in levels of intimacy and depth to encourage, different ranges of people, siblings, people who are engaged, people who are in relationships, parents and their children, adult children or children from 10 years old. Essentially people who want to know each other on a deeper level. So these cards were approved by a clinical psychologist who has a PhD in a lot of different areas, mainly psychology and the areas of trauma, the areas of mental health in general. So this actually certifies as 5 sessions of therapy as you use them, depending on how you use them. So yeah, we wanted to make sure that all these this tool makes people get to know each other better, have better conversations, and feel more intimate. Not just like I'm waving at you, but I know you. I feel known by you. I feel loved. I feel seen, and really that's the hope for the results. Yeah.
You talked about it's a card game which has questions. Yeah.
Yes.
How did you come up with the questions?
So I am a lay therapist. I'm a certified therapist. So in 2015 I took an in-depth course for about 6 months, learning the basics of therapy, right? And with that knowledge and interacting with a lot of therapists in my life, as peers but also as mentors, I got to know like what is missing in our society to create happier beings that feel seen, heard, understood, and how can we create tools to make those things more accessible. I also recently joined the junior board of advisors at Indera, Caraes, which is one of the neuro
Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
And so you meet a lot of people who are very passionate about mental health, and I have been for the last, I don't know how long, right? 8-10 years. And so with this and the surroundings that I had, we had quite good reviews, good reviewers, not reviews, because people, so we had the beginning was 100 questions that my team had come up with, and my team also, is very passionate about mental health. And so then we shared it with the professionals to edit, to review, to check these questions. And then when they sent us back, I think about 75, because at the time we thought we could afford to print 75.
Yeah.
And then the following step was, now we send people outside to play these cards with real, human beings to see how they would react to the cards, and then we removed another 20 questions, and that's how we ended up with the final deck.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of support outside. So these are not just from my head. We had a lot of support. The team had a lot of support from professionals, so we can bring the best value to people. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen people reacting to these cards, saying it's perfect, it's one good crazy idea. But you said there is something you said about the questions, and you said they vary on the level of intimacy. Yeah. So if a person buys the whole deck, do they start from the more intimate ones or from the less intimate ones? You know.
How I think so. The way I would say I would divide them is we have childhood, we have it's essentially, so childhood is mixed. You can have a happy childhood, you can have a sad childhood, and then after that is like, how do you deal with death, right? I think it was very important for us as Rwandans to actually talk about death, given that, you know, our history has had a lot of death. How do you deal with death? How do you deal with illness? How do you deal with finances? How do you deal with, so different areas. And so you can choose, if you're playing with, let's say, friends and you just want it to be a happy time. I have had a few people who told us that they pre-select which cards they want to play. And I think at the end they end up playing the whole deck. I don't know. But yeah, so it's mostly touching different areas. And you as an individual decide which areas I don't want people to touch. These areas are for me alone. And then as you grow the trust and you grow that relationship, then you can incorporate more areas of your life. Okay. Yeah.
Before we started the conversation, there's something you talked about. You said before, as you were setting the questions, you send them out to different people, a couple, you know, a family. Tell us, who are the people that this card game is designed for? Children or?
No, so the card game is designed for, so in the originality of it all, we wanted people who are building intimate relationships. So we thought, you know, couples, people who have began to date, people who are beginning to getting engaged, starting those conversations, and people who are married, right? So that was the beginning. But when we were actually testing it, we have some siblings who played, you know, like they were all above their 20s. So they've played it with each other and they realized this is very helpful for us as well. And then we had a mother who played it with her 9-10-year-old, and that was also very meaningful for them. The thing about the different, so for the mother, she had to rephrase some of the words for the kid to understand. So it's definitely not meant for children who are below 10. But so yeah, all in all, I would say it's the most general deck. And if it becomes successful, which is the hope, we want to go more specific, right? We want to go, you know, have a deck that is only for friends, have a deck that is only for couples, you know, so, but this is very general, so everyone can find themselves. It's in Kinyarwanda and English, so it was very important for us to make it available in both languages, so no one is left behind. Because as we began the conversation, we were talking about how we as a culture encourage very surface level conversations. Not everyone is very comfortable talking. You know, we really say, how are you? I'm good, and that's it, right? So how do we encourage? So Kinyarwanda is very important because the majority of people speak Kinyarwanda here. So it was really mixing. It's
By
general.
the way, you let people know how many languages it's produced in, you know, in English and Kinyarwanda.
Yes, it's in English and Kinyarwanda.
But on a lighter note, there is, I'm trying to ask myself if maybe a mother and a child, they decide to play the game. Have you ever met like these instances? I know it's not been here for a long time.
It's been a week.
It's been just a week. And the results are really promising,
Yeah, I can't believe it. I can't believe it, yeah.
It's really nice. Actually, it also hooked me up. I was like, what's this weight?
Yeah, I'm very grateful, yeah.
So have you ever made like these instances where, you know, a child and their mother, or maybe a couple, you know, it feels weird to them, you know, opening up or something like that?
Yes, I mean, it's very outside of our culture, right, to open up, because we are afraid what if someone sees me like so. In our past, vulnerability has been used as a weapon, right? If I know something about you, I will use it to shame you, to guilt trip you, or to make you feel uncomfortable. So now the premise, and we have a section where the therapist herself talks, we tell you this is for you to love someone in a better way, not for you to be like, oh, so I know that you're afraid about your weight, and then now I start calling you, you know, some, you know, bad names because I know. No, if people are trying to use this with bad intentions, that should not be for them, right? Yeah. And
I'm thinking this is also one of the good solutions, you know, to help us as a culture. You know, we grow up in societies or families where, you know, a parent and a child, they are just meant to, if they meet, a parent is asking the child, how was school? How did you perform? You know, the responsibilities a child has, you know. A parent is just, you know, following up things that the child is supposed to do. And I think one of the ways that this can help families and children with parents, I think if they can adopt it, it can bring this new culture of sharing, you know. A child will have to share. A parent will know what a child is going through, so there's something you talked about, mental health. So let's take an instance of a person who is depressed or has anxiety, PTSD. How is this designed to help them, or is it just for couples, families?
As much as this is a therapy session, there are very intense cases where you need a professional physically there present with you, right? So this is you deepening conversations with the people around you already. So if someone is dealing with depression or isolation, right? Having a game like this played with someone they trust might help them feel seen, which might help them feel again that like they matter. If this does not help them, I'm a big ambassador of go to therapy, right? Some spaces are starting to be cheaper as we go. The most affordable therapy session in Rwanda ranges from, you know, I guess 25,000 all the way, I guess, to 75,000. So as you can see,
I think even less than that.
I'm hoping that less than that becomes more available. That's great. On average, though, those are the prices that we've been seeing, like that bracket. You can find people, very rare therapists who are open, though, to give you therapy services for less than that. And Ichizere takes mutuelle, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
So with mutuelle, you actually end up paying like 800 francs.
And I think everyone in Rwanda, everyone who doesn't have these other insurance coverages, I think everyone can afford mutuelle.
So if you feel, even the questions are meant to show you what triggers you, what makes you very scared about life.
But
very
should we, sorry for cutting you short, but should we expect that this will you know, increase the culture of opening up in Rwanda?
Yes, it should increase the culture of opening up and also the culture of authenticity. We have a lot of parents, I guess, in the therapy world that say, you know, I don't know what's happening to my teenager. They don't talk to me anymore. I don't know them anymore. And do you know them? Like what are you doing to get to know them, right? A lot of parents, we have wealthy parents who kind of give the task of raising their children to, I guess, caretakers, nannies, right? And then you have, or the tablet, the phone is becoming a parent to a lot of, right? Internet is becoming a parent. And then kids, of course, they're growing to be disconnected,
With
right?
parents, yeah.
Yeah, with their own parents. So if they're disconnected with their parents who should show them love, they will come out in the world also feeling disconnected, right? And that's how you find kids who don't have the right coping mechanisms. They use alcohol and drugs to cope with issues of the world. So my thing is, if you decide as a parent, as a husband to be, or as a boyfriend, girlfriend, if you decide, I want to change this narrative, I want to know, it's scary, but then this is a good way to start. Take your child out at a park or somewhere, you know, in a garden, sit and say, let's play, and introduce it as a way. And also my biggest advice is, when someone opens up to you, don't come back and use those things as a weapon, because then you have ruined trust forever. You will never get it again.
Not only with you, but also to other people.
If it's with you, like, be trustworthy, right? Learn to. If I tell you something and then I find it on, I don't know, in some uncle knows, you know, like, let's say we're siblings, and I find that my uncle knows, I will never tell you anything again, right? So I think parents should be intentional about that, and even, like, you know, other people who are playing these games, siblings, you know, I've tried to play this with my brother as well. It's been very interesting. It's just been interesting, right? And the other thing is empathy, like, especially like for me and my brother, I guess even a lot of people, they're not raised by the same parents, even though it's the same human beings, right? Like the firstborn, people were excited, they had just gotten married, so this kid is born, let's say, with joy. And then say, you know, the genocide against the Tutsi comes in. So every kid knows a different version of their parent. So when we talk, let's say, to my brother, you find, I know my mom as a very relaxed person. He knows mom, the same mom, as a completely different person. Because it was, so I found myself trying to be like, no, mom is not like that. You know, so how do you just listen? How do you just take what they're saying? Because that's been their experience. And so all of us are learning. Honestly, I'm not saying that because we invented the game or, you know, came up with it, that we're, you know, the best human beings out there that have no faults, but we are trying to move forward to build, you know, better relationships with the people that matter to us.
I think you're right, because if a child is maybe having such a session with the parent, a child is having such a session with the parent, and the parent decides to use the same things against the child. Maybe let's say a child opens up and they tell the parents maybe they're addicted to a certain thing, for instance, and then the parent will decides, you know, to find a way of trying to help the child, or make the child feel like he or she has wronged, you know, they've done something wrong. I think you're right, this shouldn't be, people should play the game and also trying to build a trustworthy environment. I think that's when it will be more effective. So before we start playing the game, me and you, which I wonder how this is going to be, but I'm excited.
It's gonna be weird.
But what are the expected outcomes, you know, if people play it? And before we even talk about the expected outcomes, you as a person, as the inventor, what are the, you know, these barriers, if I can say, that you think people are going to meet along the way, you know? If I buy the deck and then I start playing with my friend, what do you think? What have you anticipated that people are going to meet along the way?
As challenges?
As challenges.
I mean, a lot of vulnerability. So my biggest fear is people weaponizing this, right? Like, if you tell me something about you, which is why, like, be very careful who you select. One of the disclaimers I want to tell people is that not everyone deserves your truth. Not everyone deserves your story. Just because I asked doesn't mean you have to answer me. So you have the freedom to understand, am I safe with this person? Is this a person that has given me a record of trust, a record of love, a record of truth? If those questions are no, just don't play it with them. You know, my hope is you have other people to play this game with. So be in control, yeah? If you have this deck, be in control and be like, I'm sorry, but I don't trust you. So because there's people who are going to weaponize it. You know, you tell me something, and then tomorrow I start being like, why are you talking to me when I know?
That's where I'm going to be, so...
See? Right. So choose and remember that you have that power. Give it back to yourself. So that's one of my biggest fear. My fear is just like, why is this going to happen? Another challenge, I think, is it's very new to our culture. It's very new to open up. We are very transactional, yeah? Me, let's say I have a husband, the conversations are, okay, did we pay the rent? Did we pay for the electricity? We meet on chap things, not like, hey, when you're sick, how do you want me to take care of you? That happens in the first like 4 months of marriage, and then you don't know where that person has gone, right? So encouraging to build that culture. Remember, it will be awkward in the beginning, and because you know it will be awkward, give yourself some grace. Even in the rules of the game, we have said, give yourself some grace, give yourself some space, because it's new to a lot of us, but also have the courage to keep pushing. We call this, it's a game for the brave. Are you brave? Are you courageous to pass through this awkwardness to win, right? Yeah,
but you see, one of the challenges I think is, on the first challenge you said, you see, it always takes one person to open up for the first relationship. How do you judge this? How do you judge should I open up to this person? Should I open up to the next person? How should this be treated?
One of the hopes that I have, so we launched this last Monday. So it's been a week, and on Friday I literally sent a picture I posted a picture on my social media, and 100 decks were gone on that day. So part of the people who are buying this are people who are already a little bit curious, right?
I get it. You have some money with you.
It's been great. I've been very grateful for this. So people who are starting, the ones that come and buy, they already have that mindset, and then they will give it to you, and then you will give it to. So it will create an effect. So I'm not necessarily worried about who will start, because those who are placing the order, the delivery is about 30 minutes to your home, or if you're coming to Ikirezi, because they're now at Ikirezi as well. If you're driving or taking your motor to Ikirezi, that you're already planning that. You've already been in that mindset. So there's always one person who starts, and then they will teach. We will teach the society that this is safe. So I'm thinking that's how it will go.
Yeah, I mean, it will change a lot in our culture. So how do we go
I can
about
ask
this?
you some questions.
How about I ask you?
No, because I know most of the questions.
Okay.
So it's more interesting if I ask you. I guess some of the rules are honesty. Half truth is a complete lie, so you can't lie to me. You can play alone as well. By the way, we didn't talk about that, but you can play alone.
I think I love the future of playing alone, because it gives you another version of yourself you didn't know. Yeah. I think, let's see.
Yeah, and then you can only skip or pass a question once.
Okay.
And then, feelings may arise. Are you ready?
So what happens if I want to skip more than one question?
I think so. Different people, they've created different, I guess, punishments or rewards. So if I heard a few friends who went and played the game, and I was telling you before we started recording, if you don't want to answer, you can choose to do a push-up, or things like that. So
I think that's creative.
People are getting creative in how they use the game, which is very fun.
And
but
so if I choose to skip, I'll take a sip.
No, you will. No, you.
That's a punishment.
I think this is an easy one.
Okay.
So where in life, where in life did you think you would have been if life had gone according to your wishes? If everything went as the way you were dreaming about, where do you think you would have been in life?
First, I don't think I was right with what I thought before, because I wanted to be a psychologist.
Nice.
Yeah, I wanted to be a psychologist, but I'm lazy not to take a course of the whole, academic journey of being a psychologist. So I think I would have become a psychologist. Now I'll still be in some university somewhere, because I think by the time I dreamt of that, for a person to complete and be a certified psychologist, it takes a while.
A lot, yeah.
So I think I'll be a psychologist, but I'm not sure I was right.
I mean,
I think maybe life.
that's a great answer.
Yeah, God redirected me in the right way.
Do you want to ask me one?
Yeah. Whew. Thank you for not jumping on
On some crazy stuff.
Oh, let's try this. What's something precious that you possess, and what's the story behind it? If you don't, what would you wish to have?
What's something precious? I have a lot of precious things, but one of the ones that I have a picture of myself, my mom, and my sister in my living room at my house. I think I was like 5. We had just come to Rwanda, right? We had just come from Congo, refugee life. We had just come, and we looked happy. We looked very hopeful. My mom was looking like she was busy trying to do some stuff. So I like that picture. It's in my living room. It's very well decorated. And then I also have every once in a while when I go to my mom's house, I take something from her. And when I'm feeling...
Is it called stealing?
When it's your mom, is it really? If she's watching this, she will let us know. But I have one of her dresses as well. And every time I feel upset or I feel sick, or because we don't live together anymore, I wear it. Every time I feel sick, every time I feel upset, I just wear it and walk around. So it gives me comfort. So yeah, those 2 things.
Yeah. I feel we could wrap up our show, but could you ask me one more question?
Okay. Last one, yeah? Oh, this is a good one.
Okay.
What would you try if you knew you wouldn't fail?
Oh.
These are nice.
What would I try? This is a fun one, but I think I could, apply for a job like at one of these major big media agencies, let's say BBC, CNN. Yeah.
So why aren't you applying?
Yeah, maybe I
will call you in 6 months and ask you
if
why
I did?
you haven't. Yes, please let me do that. I will definitely call you. Do it, man.
I think we could play this all day. You see, I was tempted to request for a second one. I'm not asking for a third one because our time is, we're running short of time. But tell us, where can people find these cards?
Okay,
you
so
mentioned
it's very simple. We are at Ichirezi, and we are also doing deliveries all over Kigali. So they can, if they Google Imagine We, they will find a number. Any number that they call, they can call us. We will arrange deliveries right away.
Yeah. And do you want to say the price so people can think about it?
One deck, this is the deck.
Okay.
One deck is 20,000, and the delivery depends on where you are in the country. Okay. But it's worth 5 sessions of therapy, so roughly that makes it like, it gives you therapy that's worth 3,000.
You save up to,
you save, you
60
save,
more thousands.
Yes,
or
you save
60 plus.
about 100,000 actually.
Yeah. I mean, this is an amazing project. I mean, it's an amazing one. I liked it. Yeah. So, I mean, I wish you all the best. Yeah.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best, and keep giving us more of these. We really enjoy them. Yeah. Allow me to thank you for making time to be here.
Sawa. Thank you.
You're welcome. And this brings us to the end of our conversation with Alonga. She has an amazing new project. I call it a new project because it's one of a kind here in Rwanda. So you better think of trying it out. It's an amazing one. I enjoyed the only 2 questions they asked me. So you can imagine if you have enough time and you are playing it with one of your, the people you're interested into, your loved ones. Yeah. So thank you for making time to tune in. Till next time, bye. My name is Davis Hijiro.